My name is Laney Siegner, and I am the founder and co-director of Climate Farm School. I created Climate Farm School about 3 years ago as a collaborative idea that grew out of many root systems. Actually, it was both my time farming and working with diversified farmers up in the Pacific Northwest, and then my time as a climate educator, helping adults connect with climate knowledge and action who had not learned about climate change when they were in high school or middle school or college. So there was this real, I think, sense of lack, a gap, and urgency around learning about the climate challenge before jumping in to try to solve it. So I was working in climate education. I had worked on regenerative farms. I saw an opportunity to create a course around regenerative agriculture as a climate solution, especially given my background with farmers. And when I spoke about this with students who were just in our general climate change 12-week course, they were like, oh my gosh, absolutely. And can we be on the farms that we're learning about? Because so much learning and knowledge transfer, especially for adults, happens behind a screen or in a classroom, or if you're back in grad school, in a lecture hall. But people who were wanting to work on regenerative agriculture and food systems were really hungry to get their hands in the soil and to be on the land. And simultaneously, farmers that were adopting these regenerative practices and farming in a way that takes care of their local ecosystem saw themselves very much as doing this in response to the climate and human health challenges, but they weren't able to engage with an audience who could hear that message and understand what challenges they were confronting as they were taking on this important work. So there was also kind of a disconnect between the solutionaries on the land and the people wanting to support them. So I really created Climate Farm School with a coalition of farmers and climate-interested adults who wanted very much for this program to exist. We actually had a 3-day design sprint, designed almost the whole program as it exists today in those 3 days in 2020, and then piloted it in the fall of 2021 on farms in California and Washington State. And now we host the program at a network of farms in the United States and Europe. I think there have been many surprises, but the main one is that I think there can be a perception on both sides, from farmers and non-farmers, that for farmers that they're kind of an insular community. They really trust information flowing from other farmers to inform and empathize with what they're going through. And then non-farmers are like, oh, farmers are so cool and interesting, I'll talk to them at the farmers market. But there's kind of like a barrier there. And I think there's almost like a mistrust or skepticism by farmers on the part of everyone else, and like a kind of a misunderstanding on everyone else about what it means to be a farmer, whether you're romanticizing it or whether you think it's the worst thing in the world. It's kind of like neither of those things. And so bringing these people together, it's just been shockingly cool that the conversations start at a very human level. Everyone is sort of in this open state of like, I'm willing to try this. And it leads to kind of amazingly insightful conversations. Farmers feeling like these tech and finance professionals can be their friends and allies in the world that they maybe don't want to be in, but they have people on the inside who are looking out for them. And for people who are teachers, doctors, tech, finance, graduate students, to feel like they now have a network that includes farmers, I feel like they hold on to those farmers and they're like, do it for Aubrey, like do it for Katie. Like those people are kind of their calls to action in their own work and life after the farm. And it just starts with living in community, having those conversations over meals and in the fields. And I just feel like there's not really a great substitute for that without that direct connection. Well, I think our alumni, we have about 250 alumni right now. They're already kind of blazing the trail about what this can become. And from the beginning, it was sort of a co-created project. And now our alumni are doing things that make us see what's possible, like quitting their jobs and starting new companies in the regenerative food CPG space, or finding ways to bring other doctors from their chosen fields to experience farm-based sustainable food systems education. So I think there's definitely opportunity to have alumni programming, the Graduate School of Climate Farm School, and spend more time on a farm, maybe within your chosen professional field, because the people who come right now for our core program are diverse adult professionals from any field, so all mixed up with each other. But I think honing in on like, how can my field contribute to regenerative food systems and climate resilience, and learn and incorporate the realities that are being learned every day on the land, and that farmers are holding this knowledge, would be the next level. And then we have conveniently alumni who are more on the teacher educator side who could help us expand this program in ways that I kind of think of as maybe like a program licensing model, because right now we're small, we're a staff of 2, and we have a network of educators, instructors, chefs that work with us at all of our programs, but really our alumni are the ones who could bring this to more farms in their communities and be the ones to set up similar learning engagement platforms, or whether it's a course or whether it's a workshop designed around climate action and hosted on a farm. I think the ways that Climate Farm School could support local food system regeneration and local climate resilience, climate action plans are numerous, but the key ingredients are kind of having it be on a farm, having people have the opportunity to put their hands in the soil, grow and harvest vegetables together that they then cook and eat, and having that be the context for the conversations around connecting disconnected parts of the food system. So I think it could be a model that replicates, rather than scaling. I think replication is a regional replicational model is what I see that would allow this program to happen all over the country and all over the world. I was thinking about this last night in preparing for my talk. I was like coming up with this theory that like you can't solve problems without firsthand experience of the problem. And that might be tactile, or that might be different in other problem sets. I mean, I'm so deeply thinking about sustainable food systems and land and soil that I'm like, you just can't solve this problem by thinking hard about it. Like, you have to physically interact with the materials that are at the root of problem and solution sets. And I think, to me, it just doesn't sink in the same way when you read about it, watch a movie about it, hear about it from a friend or someone else. Like, anyone who is at my talk, if they just like come to the farms that we host our program and put their hands in the soil and be a part of that program and learning experience, I guarantee like the impact would stay with them way longer than what they're able to hear and envision and feel excited about today. Because you can get excited, but I feel like that it's kind of that direct experience leading to continued inspiration and feeling like you can engage with this on multiple levels. Like, we're not just our heads and our minds and our eyes behind the computer. I think it's just more positively reinforcing when you get the head, the heart, the hands, the feet, all moving in the same direction, essentially.